Hello everyone, welcome to Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services. It's a video on Kurukshetra monthly compilation, and I'll be discussing Kurukshetra compilation for the month of November. For this month, the general focuses upon the science and technology. Some of the important article that is relevant for both prelims and mains examination will be discussed, and this journal focuses upon the science and technology and its contribution in various domains of the society. So I'll start the session with some of the most important article. But before I begin, those of you who are new to our channel, do not forget to subscribe Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services on YouTube. If you like this video, if you find this video informative and helpful, do not forget to press a like button. Starting the session with the first article, the theme article, that is technology and innovation in healthcare. How the technology upgradation and augmentation has helped the healthcare sector, which are the verticals which are actually benefited, and how we need to overcome the challenges and what is the way forward. Technology has made life easier for the people both in rural as well as in remote area. स्पेसिफिकली अर्बन एरियाज की अगर बात करें वहाँ पे ऑलरेडी हॉस्पिटलाइजेशन या इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर डेवलप्ड है, बट अगर टेक्नोलॉजी के अपग्रेडेशन की बात करें द रूरल एरिया एंड द रिमोट एरिया हैज़ बिन बेनिफिटेड. India's healthcare system has witnessed a paradigm shift in ensuring the quality health delivery to citizen in the last decade. तो पिछले कुछ 10 सालों में ये देखा गया है कि बहुत सारी चीज़ें इम्प्रूव हुई हैं एंड टेक्नोलॉजी अपग्रेडेशन एंड ऑगमेंटेशन हैज हेल्प द सिटीजन. Teleconsultation has multiplied during COVID-19 pandemic, and there's a renewed acceptance among the doctor, patients, insurers, and other wellness ecosystem. It is evident of the fact that COVID-19 के टाइम जब पेंडेमिक अपने पूरे पीक पे थी, टेलीकंसल्टेशन ने बहुत लोगों को हेल्प की है. विदाउट विजिटिंग टू द डॉक्टर यू गेट अ कंसल्टेशन with the expert or the doctor, that is known as a teleconsultation or telephonic consultation भी कह सकते हैं. Now, the emergence of digital healthcare in India, interoperability is the ability of the system to be able to communicate with each other and make use of information obtained through each other without any restrictions. तो टेक्नोलॉजी ने कई बैरियर्स खत्म किए हैं. अगर हेल्थ केयर सेक्टर में बात करें, ये काफ़ी ज़्यादा एविडेंट थी ड्यूरिंग द पेंडेमिक. द मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ हेल्थ एंड फैमिली वेलफेयर notified the electronic health record, जिसे EHR के नाम से भी जाना जाता है, that standard for India in September 2013. The revised EHR standard for India were notified in December 2016. And in that, COVID-19 पेंडेमिक के कंटेक्स्ट में अगर बात करें, गवर्नमेंट ने चीज़ों को और इम्प्रूव की. एंड नेशनल डिजिटल हेल्थ मिशन, ऑल्सो नोन एज आयुष भारत डिजिटल मिशन और ABDM, was launched in 2020, which is an impression of national digital health blueprint. तो जिस तरह से records national digital health blueprint में रखे जाते हैं, kind of things will be also the part of the Ayushman Bharat digital mission. It seeks to create a single repository of medical records for all citizens, and it will be also feasible for doctors and the patient at the same time to get a record at a same place. Scope of remote healthcare in India की अगर बात करें, one of the significant challenges that is faced by the rural community is the lack of healthcare expertise. Still, India lack a lot of healthcare expertise, and even जो डॉक्टर और पेशेंट की जो proportions हैं, जो रेशियो है, वो भी काफ़ी लो है. The existing healthcare model has endless potential for technology to deliver massive improvement, especially in the rural health sector. The purpose of incorporating technology into health in rural area are not to replace doctor but to improve healthcare and enable more efficient and accurate diagnosis where specialized knowledge is not available in this field. Now, the rise of remote healthcare, how the remote healthcare system has improved और किस तरह से वहाँ पे ये ज़रूरत हुई जब टेक्नोलॉजी की अपग्रेडेशन ने रूरल हेल्थ केयर को इम्प्रूव किया. Due to severe shortage of intensive care staff in hospital during the pandemic, many providers have built the remote and smart ICU. These facilities are allowed to serve more patients simultaneously. Small towns या rural area की बात करें, अभी भी वहाँ पे काफ़ी ज़्यादा खामियां हैं, काफ़ी कमी है in terms of infrastructure facilities, basic amenities are still lacking, but technology holds the answer to bridge the gap. ये जो कमी है या फिर जो वैक्यूम है, ये टेक्नोलॉजी के थ्रू फुल की जा सकती है. The Internet of Medical Things, that is IOMT, is changing the nation healthcare system for better services. An IOMT device are that device that is capable to get attached with Bluetooth enabled transmission, and all essential clinical data and consent information are possible in the real time. Now, non-conventional energy sources की अगर बात करें, this is again an important topic and precisely important for जनरल स्टडीज पेपर 3. जनरल स्टडीज की पेपर 3 में कई बार यूपीएससी ने डायरेक्ट क्वेश्चन पूछे हुए हैं एनर्जी ट्रांसमिशन या एनर्जी रिसोर्सेज को लेकर के. एंड इंडिया ऑल्दो कमिटेड टू मूव टूवर्ड नॉन कन्वेंशनल सोर्स ऑफ एनर्जी. कोप 26-27 में ये सारी बातें दोहराई गई. Energy occupies a pivotal positions to facilitate the dream of sustainable development in India. India is gradually transmitting from the conventional source to non-conventional source of energy for its requirement. This is particularly significant as being one of the fastest growing countries in the world and fifth largest economy. India holds a strategically important positions in the global arena, and India's effort in the climate change will pave the direction for future generations. Energy resources की अगर बात करें, energy sources are global warming. How the energy sources and global warming are the part and partial of the energy generations. So the source of energy play a dominant role in determining the pace of global warming. Conventional energy sources such as burning of fossil fuel, including the coal, is the largest contributor to the global climate change. Fossil fuel account for about 75% of the total greenhouse gas emissions and about 90% of the total carbon dioxide emission. A factually important information that you can even utilize in the mains paper. Now, important global measures जो लिए गए हैं to overcome the problem of carbon and basically the global emissions को लेकर के क्या क्या ऐसे possible measures हैं global level पे which is actually helping for the sustainable environment. The first among them is Kyoto Protocol, is one of the major measures which under the UNFC was signed in 1997, and Kyoto Protocol made the industrialization countries and economies to commit towards the reductions of the emission of the greenhouse gases as per agreed individual target. और इसी advanced version में Paris Agreement आई. After the Kyoto, the Paris Agreement was signed by 196 countries around the globe to avoid the dangerous climate change by limiting the global warming to below 2 degrees Celsius and pushing its efforts to limit to 1.5 degrees Celsius. Despite all this effort, the carbon dioxide emissions are alarming and call for shift towards the non-conventional source of energy is evident and necessarily required for all emerging countries. इंडिया की क्या अप्रोच है एनर्जी ट्रांजिशंस को लेकर के बात करें. इंडिया इज अ ग्रेजुअली ट्रांजिशन फ्रॉम द नॉन कन्वेंशनल सोर्स to the conventional source of from conventional to non-conventional source of energy for its requirement. Non-conventional energy sources की अगर बात करें ये रेफर होती है वो renewable resources की where energy are obtained from nature and replenished at the rate of faster in consumption unlike the conventional source which is coal and natural gases, right? So these are the major difference and the popular sources of the non-conventional energies. I'll be discussing the detailed part of that. So the first among them is solar energy. सबसे पहले अगर नॉन कन्वेंशनल एनर्जी की बात होती है तो सबसे पहला एग्जांपल आता है सोलर एनर्जी का. Solar energy refers to the energy received from the sun in form of light and heat. It can be harnessed by converting solar energy into electric energy in solar plant. And India being a tropical country and its a geographical location make it conducive for energy, right? तो इंडिया की जिस तरह की geographical attachments हैं when for the other part it is something blessed where we have a lot of solar energy, right? तो कई initiatives भी global level पे लिए गए हैं ताकि solar energy को utilize किया जा सके. Further, solar energy in India has evolved as one of the main key sunshine sector and has a lot of potentials. So काफी potential है sector में and even a lot of potential has also been evident from other sources of the non-conventional energy. Country needs for the solar energy and resulted for the production like incentive scheme for the manufacturing. खास करके अगर सोलर फोटोवोल्टिक या पीवी मॉड्यूल्स की बात करें जिसके लिए टोटल आउटले गवर्नमेंट ने 24,000 करोड़ रुपीस तक रखी है. विंड एनर्जी की बात करें द एक्सपेंशन ऑफ विंड इंडस्ट्री इन द कंट्री हैज क्रिएटेड अ स्ट्रॉन्ग इकोसिस्टम विद एफिशिएंट प्रोजेक्ट हैंडलिंग with the operation facilities of the manufacturing based up to 10,000 megawatt per annum. And as on March 2021, India, with a total installed capacity of 39.25 gigawatt, has the fourth highest wind energy capacity in the world. Again, the factual important point. You need to write all this important point in the mains examination wherever a question is being asked. Now, India with the longest coastline इंडिया की जो है 7500 किलोमीटर के अप्रॉक्सीमेट है with an immense potential for harnessing the wind energy. The recent assessment by the government has indicated that the gross wind power potential for 302 gigawatts in the country at 100 meters and 695 gigawatts at 120 meter above the ground level. तो ये कुछ टेक्निकल क्राइटेरियाज हैं जो रिकमेंडेशंस आई हैं assessment by the agencies. They have recommended the government. Tidal energy is another source of energy. The energy produced from the surface of the ocean, that is from the rise and fall of the wave, is called tidal energy. The energy is yet to take full-fledged from the commercial purposes and still the research and development phase. Relatively high cost and limited availability of sites with sufficiently high tidal range follow velocity pose constraint to its tidal availability. Geothermal energy, the energy generated from the heat derived from the surface to the earth, is called geothermal energy. The gradual decline of the radioactive particle in the earth core generates the geothermal energy. और हाइड्रो पावर्स की अगर बात करें, हाइड्रो पावर एंड हाइड्रोइलेक्ट्रिक पावर आर द हाइडल पावर इज कंसिडर्ड टू बी वन ऑफ द oldest and largest source of renewable energy. It generates electricity by harnessing the flow of water. Now there's biomass and biofuel. These are the two important parts. So biomass is an organic material that contain and store and obtain from the sun. Burning of biomass result in the release of chemical energy in the biomass from the heat. But according to Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, about 32% of the total primary uses in India is derived from the biomass, and more than 70% of the country population depends on biomass fuel to cater their requirement. Now, fuel cell, these refer to sources of energy which cause hydrogen and oxygen to generate electric power. Thus, the chemical reaction with oxygen and fuel convert the hydrogen derived from the other sources, and water is the end product from this by making clean and sustainable energy uses. तो ये कुछ मेथडोलॉजी है जिनके थ्रू बायोमास की एनर्जी यूज की जा रही है, एंड इवन द फ्यूल सेल हैज अ पोटेंशियल इन द नॉन कन्वेक्शनल सोर्स ऑफ एनर्जी that is very high in India, and further the government has come up with many schemes that will help this sector as well. Significance of non-conventional source of energy की बात करें, so the transitions to non-conventional source of energy and clean energy ensure the 3 E's. वो 3 E's कौन कौन से energy policies में? First is energy security, second is energy development, and third is energy sustainability, that is environmental sustainability. The shift towards the non-conventional source of energy can bring the cost of energy supply. The realization of India's Atmanirbhar Bharat also depend upon the enhanced accessibility, affordability, green and clean energy, right? Although COP26 or 27 दोनों की अगर बात करें, the always commitment which India has made is to move towards the clean and green energy. Further transmission to the non-conventional source of energy result in more employment and entrepreneurial opportunity in the domain of renewable energies. Now, some government intervention to foster the renewable energy resources. India is committed to achieve 500 gigawatts of non-fossil energy by 2030. This is the Pancha Amrit initiative that government, specifically the Prime Minister, has come up during the COP26 meeting, right? And India is about to achieve net zero emissions by 2070. So the government efforts are aligned to make sustainable progress in the Sustainable Development Goal 7, which call for affordable, reliable, sustainable and modern energy for all by 2030. Some of the recent environmental interventions for facilitating a transmission of renewable energy sources or energy are as follows. We'll see some of them. The first is permitting the foreign direct investment up to 100% under the automatic route for the renewable energy, including the offshore wind energy, setting up of ultra mega renewable energy parks to provide land and transmissions to renewable energy developers on plug and play basis, waiving the interstate transmission system, that is charge for interstate sale of solar power, wind power for the project to be commercialized by June 2025. Now the other is Pradhan Mantri Kisan Urja Suraksha Ekdam Uthan Mahabhiyan, PM Kushum के नाम से जाना जाता है. This aims to de-dieselize the farm sector to provide energy sector with increased income to the farmer. इसके तीन important component है. पहली component है creation of 10,000 megawatt of decentralized ground mounted grid connections for the solar plant, solarization of 15 lakh grid connected power pumps, and installation of 20 lakh agriculture pumps in the power sector. उसके अलावा नेशनल हाइड्रोजन मिशन है. द मिशन एम्स टू मेक इंडिया ग्रीन हाइड्रोजन हब विद aims to fulfill the target of productions of the 5 million energy green hydrogen by 2030 along with the elite development of renewable energy with its capacity. कुछ चैलेंजेस अगर बात करें जो कन्वेंशन एनर्जी के सेक्टर्स में फेस की गई हैं बाय द स्टेक होल्डर्स बाय द गवर्नमेंट. फर्स्ट इज ensuring an enabling infrastructure and conducive environment for facilitating the smooth transition of renewable energy is a big concern. Massive investment is inevitable. Without investment, these basically progress cannot be seen. तो एक बड़ी इन्वेस्टमेंट पहले लगानी होती है इस तरह के प्रोजेक्ट्स के लिए फॉर फैसिलिटेटिंग स्मूथ ट्रांजिशन ऑफ नॉन कन्वेंशनल सोर्स ऑफ एनर्जी. सो इट्स अ इन्वेस्टमेंट ड्रिवन part. Ensuring viable financing mechanism to raise long-term fund on low interest rate can facilitate the transitions through the formidable change. And the poor financing strength some of the distribution companies and resulting inability to take timely payments to the renewable energy developers are also in the formidable hindrance. Moving to the other article, important one, that is the smart water futures. Water is essential but scarce resources. Therefore, consuming and managing each one of drop is very vital. Some 1.1 billion people worldwide lack access to water, and by 2025, two-third of the world population may face the shortage. An important point to be noted, important for males specifically. And by 2030, the country water demand projected to be twice an available supply of business usually continue. It may imply that severe water scarcity for 100 million of the people. Waste water management की अगर बात करें, the issue of waste water management is significant for India and it needs to be addressed urgently. Per person disease burden for unsafe water is also high. Sanitation was 40 times higher in India than China and 12 times higher than Sri Lanka in 2016. With country generating 140 billion cubic meters of wastewater annually, mismanagement of wastewater also contaminates the groundwater. The lack of liquid management, poor sanitation, poor hygiene habits contribute to the major portion of the population suffering from the water-borne diseases. Water and economic growth की अगर बात करें, water is necessary as an irreplaceable source of economic growth. UN की एक रिपोर्ट है, UN report on water and job. It has estimated that the world workforce, about 1.5 billion people, are dependent and employed as one of the 8 water and natural resources dependent industries. तो water intensive industries काफ़ी ज़्यादा हैं. And even in India, do not have water scarcity seriously, then by 2030 it can lose 6% of the GDP due to water related disaster. So kindly note this type of point relevant for the mains examination. Therefore, at right time to work with the faster and basically with the pace of the water management as a part of our sustained life should be. Basic leakages management की अगर बात करें, there are 4 basic leakage management that is part of the water utilization and to reduce the distribution losses. The first would be the pressure management. Second is active leakage control. Third, speed and quantity of repair and pipe asset management and maintenance and renewable. These steps holistically features conventional yet necessary steps to manage leakage while reducing the physical losses. स्मार्ट सॉल्यूशंस फॉर वाटर फ्यूचर्स, कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट सॉल्यूशंस की अगर बात करें, टेक्नोलॉजी अपग्रेडेशंस की बात करें, इम्प्लीमेंटेशंस ऑफ द इंटरनेट ऑफ थिंग्स टेक्नोलॉजी. दिस टेक्नोलॉजी विल रिक्वायर द डेटा ऑफ वाटर टू बी ट्रांसमिटेड ओवर द लॉन्गर डिस्टेंस wirelessly uninterrupted to the center dashboard, analyze and monitor the water system. Sensor, remote sensing, geographic information system, technology, visualization tool are some of the key elements to manage the water at service area, watershed at regional scale. Now, उसके अलावा remote sensing और imaging technologies हैं such as satellite, drone can be used separately or together to provide mapping of water, measuring of water fluxes and utilization of SS management. गवर्नमेंट ने कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट स्कीम, स्वामित्व स्कीम जैसे स्कीम लाई हैं जो कि इस तरह के चीज़ों में हेल्प करेंगी. New and existing sensor, both the fixed and mobile, can be used to provide real-time data. Water quality, flow, pressures, water level are among the other parameters. Smart meters can be used to record customer water uses and will provide a cleaner picture for water consumption and convey data for both the consumer utilization, allowing for the improved water management. Artificial intelligence, very significant. Artificial intelligence and machine learning is also the part of it. The water can allow the strategic cost operations, including the better planning and execution of the project, better tracking and understanding the losses, real-time, more efficient collections distribution network, maximizing revenue capture and customer satisfactions. Augmented reality and virtual reality, AR या फिर VR की बात करें, this technology has provided a unique contributions to the digital water. And AR VR technology has a potential to support the decision making in the field of providing the holographic representation of pipe, cable, and other assets, and offering immersive scenario-based training for the employees. Blockchain applications have the potential for direct secure translation between the resources provided and consumer peer, that is other player of the water resources. Use of satellite, drone, GIS and AI are the reservoir operations. Flood forecasting including mapping can help to mitigate the flood and thousands of life as well. Good practices जो कुछ इंडिया में की गई हैं, some of the example, even you can utilize this example in the case studies paper of general studies paper 4, जहाँ के case studies में आप इस तरह के examples भी utilize कर पाएंगे. World Bank funded Karnataka urban water sector improvement, even has reduced the non-revenue water from 50 to 7% increase in the hour of supply and 2 hour of the few to 24 hour the water supply. Andhra Pradesh government has launched the Andhra Pradesh Water Resource Information Management System, which is a smart water solution platform जो कि टारगेट करती है overreaching के लिए and will have the objective for sustainable water management in Andhra Pradesh. उड़ीसा की बात करें, the first state in the country that has implemented the early warning dissemination system, which aims to establish a foolproof communication system to address the existing gap, disseminating the disaster from the state, district, and block level to the communities. Recently, the student from IIT Madras had developed AI enabled. This is basically AI enabled, right? AI enabled drone that has helped the authorities to provide vital information on people trapped in the disaster hit area. Science and technology towards women empowerment, how the technology has helped and led to the more functional process in terms of the development of women and how it has further strengthened the women empowerment. Science and technology is the most powerful enterprise that derives the national development, but ironically, women's in the area has been underrepresented and India has no exception to this. The Prime Minister has emphasized that women power is significant, that has grown. And on February 2020, India has celebrated National Science Day with women in science as a focal theme, right? So this was a theme. Globally, government and organizations are focusing on promoting the gender equality, women empowerment to untap potential of women as a precious human capital. Now, women in science and technology, कुछ अगर पुरानी policies की बात करें जो कि start की गई थी, Scientific Policy Resolutions 1958, the first science and technology policy India acknowledged with women's role in science and technology. It aims to ensure that creative talent of men and women are encouraged, find full scope to the scientific activities. उसके अलावा डॉक्टर MS स्वामीनाथन की contributions की अगर बात करें, the first focused move was there on women empowerment. So he was an individual who has emphasized on women empowerment in science and technology. And this was done by MS Swaminathan, who initiated the chapter on science and technology for women in the 6th 5-year plan, which was introduced by the plan document known as Women and Development. तो 6th 5-year plan जब बनाई गई उसमें इसके बारे में जिक्र की गई थी। बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट है, आप इसको मेंस एग्जामिनेशन में जहाँ पे ज़रूरत हो वुमेन एम्पावरमेंट के टॉपिक के, इवन फॉर जनरल स्टडीज पेपर 1 वेयर वुमेन एम्पावरमेंट इज ए स्पेसिफिक टॉपिक, वहाँ भी आप यूटिलाइज कर पाएंगे। UN Conference on Women. The first step to back the UN Conference on Women in Mexico in 1975 was an international women, followed by the fourth UN World Conference was held in Beijing in 1995. The objective of the conference highlighted further gender equality, integrated women in the development activities by creating opportunities with full practice at diverse workplace. 21st सेंचुरी में क्या क्या ऐसी चेंजेस की गई हैं जो ने बेसिकली उस इनिशिएटिव्स ने काफ़ी तक हेल्प किया है। द फॉर्मर प्राइम मिनिस्टर मिस्टर अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी हैज़ डिक्लेयर्ड 2000 ईयर एज द ईयर फॉर वुमेन फॉर एम्पावरमेंट। एम्पावरमेंट फॉर वुमेन वाज अ थीम एंड दिस ईयर हैज कैटेगोरिकली बीन डिवोटेड टू दैट। The new millennium, India's science and technology leadership focused on women-enabled policies and initiated the implementation of programs that increase the participation of women in STEM. STEM stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics disciplines. The Science and Technology Policy in 2003 has emphasized to promote empowerment of women in all science and technology activities that ensure the full and equal participation of the women in the science sector. Now, initiatives जो government ने लिए हैं, that some initiative that was important and government has taken that. National Task for the Women in Science. The task force conducted the 10-wide meeting. The women scientists identified for the lower retention of the women in science and technology and proposed the gender-enabled measures. उसमें कुछ important measures की अगर बात करें, recruitment बढ़ाई गई women scientists की, institutions में selections and hiring of committee in the women scientists was also included. Committee members to avoid asking question with inherent gender basis. एज रिलैक्सेशन दी गई वुमेन साइंटिस्ट को। मेंटोरशिप प्रोग्राम स्टार्ट किए गए फॉर करियर एडवांसमेंट एंड री एंट्री ऑफ वुमेन हु हैज बीन ऑन ब्रेक थ्रू ड्यू टू फैमिली रीजंस वेर रोल्ड आउट। The second is KIRAN, that is Knowledge Involvement in Research Advancement Through Nurturing. It's a division that reconceptualized at DST, Departments of Science and Technology, in 2014 to cover the Women Inclusive Scheme and to bring gender parity in science and technology and provide framework for gender mainstreaming. It support women scientist scheme originally launched in 2003. CURIE Programme भी launch की गई थी जो कि more recently launched program है known as Mobility Scheme. वुमेन साइंटिस्ट स्कीम की अगर बात करें, जैसे WSO के नाम से, AB के नाम से भी जाना जाता है, प्रोवाइड अपॉर्चुनिटी फॉर द वुमेन रिसर्चर हु हैव टेकन द ब्रेक प्राइमरी ड्यू टू द फैमिली रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी एंड रीलोकेशंस ऑफ परसुइंग रिसर्च, बेसिक अप्लाइड साइंसेज इन फर्टाइल एरिया एंड साइंस एंड इंजीनियरिंग. Now, there is a B program that provides support to women scientists and scientific solutions for solving grassroots issues related to the promotion of social benefits. Now, there's a CURIE program. It's one of the major goal was to identify the national task force and to increase the number of women in science and technology by providing them with accurate edge in science and technology infrastructure and promote scientific skill. Mobility schemes की अगर बात करें, mobility schemes offer the contractual research towards conducting independent research in any locations. This enable women to undertake research during the early phases of their career while fulfilling key domestic responsibilities. Now, science and technology in agriculture. This is something which the parts and development in science of technology in agriculture is inevitable because this sector is something that has been more benefited from the advancement of science and technology. The agriculture industries has radically transformed over the 50 years. Advanced in the machines have expanded the scale, speed, and productivity of the farm equipment, leading to more efficient cultivation of the moorland. Some seeds, irrigation, fertilizer has also vastly improved, helping the farm increase yield. Agriculture and elite sector. The agriculture and elite sector play a critical role in the rural livelihood, employment, nation and food security. The sector provide the large sources of livelihood in the country. The proportions of India's population depending directly or indirectly on Indian agriculture for the employment opportunities and is more than any other sector. तो अभी भी एग्रीकल्चर एक ऐसी सेक्टर है जहाँ पे काफ़ी ज़्यादा एम्प्लॉयमेंट. Estimated that around 55 to 60% of the rural household depends primarily on agriculture for their livelihood. Farm population की अगर बात करें, according to agriculture census, close to 14.5 crore farm families are there in the country, and around 82% of the farm families belong to a small and marginalized category who own less than 1 acre of the land. So this is the reality. Farmers, the perception is that farmer has a lot of land, but this is not the reality. 82% of the farmer is only having land less than 1 acre, and close to 18% are on the higher side. The sector, which is largest employer of the workforce, account for 18.8% of the gross value added, that is GVA, registered as growth of 3.6% during COVID-19 also, and 3.9% in 2021-2022. डिजिटल टेक्नोलॉजीज की अगर बात करें, द कमिटी ऑफ डबलिंग द फार्म इनकम इन इट्स रिपोर्ट 2018 हैज rolled out the digital technology which can play a transformational role in modernizing the organization and how the rural India performs in the agriculture activities. Digital technologies are finding increasing uses in the agriculture value system, and farmers are increasingly becoming more informed. कुछ गवर्नमेंट इनिशिएटिव्स की अगर बात करें जिसने एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर को और हेल्प की है, बूस्ट की है फॉर द फर्दर ओवरऑल एंड द ग्राउंड लेवल डेवलपमेंट. फर्स्ट अमंग देम इज ई-नैम, दैट इज ऑनलाइन मार्केट प्लेस. बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट इनिशिएटिव है गवर्नमेंट की. पैन इंडिया इलेक्ट्रॉनिक ट्रेडिंग पोर्टल बनाई गई जहाँ पे एग्जिस्टिंग जो एपीएमसी थी, एग्रीकल्चर मार्केट प्रोड्यूस कमिटीज जो थी, टू क्रिएट अ यूनिफाइड मार्केट बेस फॉर एग्रीकल्चर कमोडिटीज. अंडर द स्कीम रिफॉर्म वाज मैंडेटरी फॉर द स्टेट एंड यूनियन टेरिटरीज, जहाँ पे रिस्पेक्टिव एपीएमसीज को इंटीग्रेट किया गया विद ई-नैम सो दैट प्रोवाइड प्रोविजंस फॉर ई ट्रेडिंग आर देयर, सिंगल पॉइंट लेवी ऑफ मार्केट फ्री, यूनिफाइड सिंगल ट्रेडिंग लाइसेंस हो हर एक स्टेट में. Now, without APMC Act needed to provide legally enforceable guideline and institutional mechanism for implementing the e-NAM state. Second is PM Kisan digital payment. Under the PM Kisan digital payment scheme, 6,000 annual in 3 installment is directly transferred to the bank account for the eligible farmers under the DBT mode. तो अगर DBT benefits की अगर बात करें, इसके farmer beneficiaries हैं जिनको 6,000 annually दिए जाते हैं और the basically 3 installment में इनको पे. Farmers do self registration through the farmer core in the portal. एक बार farmer ने अगर register कर ली तो उसको 6,000 annually मिलेंगे 3 quarters तक, 3 installment. The PM Kisan mobile app was launched to broaden the scheme, where the farmers with the status of applications update the corrections and even update their Aadhaar card history credit of the bank account. Now, Egg Marketed Portal. This is again something to create agriculture's marketing infrastructure. एक G2C e-governance portal है जो कैटर करती है various stakeholders को, which include farmers, industries, policymakers, providing agriculture marketing related to single window clearance system. The single window system, you don't need to muggle up in other paperwork or other sort of requirement. The single window clearance system. It facilitates the web information flow, the daily arrival and the prices of the commodities in agriculture produce marketplace spread across the country. Now, National Mission on Horticulture, it's provide holistic development of the horticulture in the sector. One project is a web-enabled workforce based on providing the financial assistance. To mobilize a medium long-term debt finance facility for investment is vital for the post-harvest management infrastructure and community farming, and the incentive for the finance support in order to improve the agriculture in the infrastructure sector. The fund also allows the convergence with other schemes so that the benefits from the other central government scheme can be availed along with the AIF. This subventions of the available for maximum period of 7 years. Now, National Project on Soil Health and Fertility. The government has recommended the soil test based on the balance and nutrient management through the consumption of both organic and inorganic matters, जहाँ पे मैन्योर, बायो फर्टिलाइजर्स, इन सिटू रेसिड्यू रिसाइकलिंग, इस तरह के मेथड्स अप्लाई किए हैं. राइट क्वांटिटी राइट टाइम पे होने की जरूरत है, राइट मोड के थ्रू यूज करनी है, और जुडिशियस यूज ऑफ केमिकल फर्टिलाइजर इज समथिंग दैट इज रिक्वायर्ड. Integrated nutrient management has been prompted through implementation of soil health card scheme since 2015. Now, some other important schemes are, these are the last 2 schemes: development of the Kisan mobile applications to facilitate and disseminate the information covering the range of issues, चाहे वो weather forecast हो, extreme weather alert, marketplace commodities, information clearance, fertilizers, pesticides, प्लांट प्रोटेक्शन. ये ऐसे 12 मेजर क्रॉप्स के लिए की जाती हैं. सॉइल हेल्थ कार्ड्स भी हैं. soil testing, cold storage, godowns, veterinary laboratories, diagnostic center, crop insurance, and government scheme. Now, use of drone in agriculture has taken up the pace, and this is a trend that has recently started to promote the use of drone. The Department of Agriculture and the Welfare has released the standard operating procedures, जिसे SOP भी कहते हैं, वो लाई गई है ड्रोन खास करके एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर के लिए फॉर द यूजेस ऑफ ड्रोन इन पेस्टिसाइड्स एंड द न्यूट्रिएंट एप्लीकेशंस which provide conscious instructions and effective and safe operations of the drone. तो ड्रोन की effective utilizations, उसके तरीके कैसे होने चाहिए, क्या रूल्स हैं और किस तरह से ड्रोन्स ने पेस्टिसाइड्स मैनेजमेंट में बहुत हद तक हेल्प किया है. If an individual do the same work, it will take a lot of time and energy, and even the financial burden is there in the farmer. अगर drones अगर की जाए, even for the rented drone, they will be definitely benefited from these facilities. So these are some of the important schemes by the government and this was all about for the Kurukshetra compilation for the month of November. We have other initiatives for you like daily news and editorial analysis, which I cover from the newspaper Hindu and Indian Express, a comprehensive analysis for the UPSC Civil Services examination. आप IAS गैजेट की जनरल डाउनलोड कर सकते हैं हमारे वेबसाइट से. FCSDR, PIB compilation, MPR, gist of Yojana and Kurukshetra, all this initiative will help you to sail through the journey of civil services. If you have any other concern, you can let me know. I'll be more than happy to assist you. For time being, I'm signing off. Thank you so much for watching this video.